In the shadowy corridors of power within the Soviet Union, the KGB, the notorious security agency, operated with sweeping authority, utilizing a web of surveillance, fear, and coercion to suppress any hint of dissent. The KGB's tactics were multifaceted, ranging from surveillance and censorship to imprisonment, psychological torture, and even execution. With an unyielding grip on Soviet society, the KGB effectively quashed any form of dissent, ensuring the regime's iron-fisted control over its citizens. At the forefront of the KGB's arsenal was its extensive surveillance apparatus. The agency meticulously monitored all forms of communication, employing a vast network of informants, wiretaps, and intercepts. No conversation was beyond their reach, as the KGB permeated every level of society with its pervasive surveillance. Individuals suspected of dissent were subjected to relentless scrutiny, their every move scrutinized for any sign of opposition to the regime. In conjunction with its surveillance measures, the KGB enforced strict censorship, controlling the flow of information to the public. All forms of media, including print, radio, and television, were heavily scrutinized and censored to ensure that only the party's propaganda reached the masses. Any dissenting voices were swiftly silenced, their publications banned, and their authors branded as enemies of the state. This pervasive censorship served to create a climate of fear, where individuals were acutely aware of the consequences of speaking out against the regime. For those who dared to defy the party line, the KGB's response was swift and merciless. Dissidents were targeted for arrest, their homes raided in the dead of night, and their families subjected to intimidation and harassment. Once in custody, prisoners faced a litany of horrors within the KGB's notorious network of prisons and labor camps. Psychological torture, such as solitary confinement and sleep deprivation, was routinely employed to break the will of the dissenters. Those who remained steadfast in their opposition faced the very real threat of physical torture and even execution. The KGB also utilized a sophisticated system of psychological manipulation to suppress dissent. Individuals deemed as potential threats to the regime were often subjected to intense psychological pressure, including blackmail, threats to their loved ones, and even the fabrication of evidence to incriminate them. This insidious form of coercion left dissidents in a perpetual state of fear, never knowing when the KGB's gaze would fall upon them. In addition to these overt tactics, the KGB also utilized more covert means to suppress dissent. Disinformation campaigns and the infiltration of dissident groups served to sow seeds of doubt and discord within opposition movements, undermining their efforts from within. By sowing distrust and paranoia among dissidents, the KGB effectively weakened any organized resistance to the regime. In conclusion, the KGB's suppression of dissent within the USSR was a systematic, relentless campaign that utilized every means at its disposal to maintain the iron grip of the Soviet regime. Through pervasive surveillance, censorship, imprisonment, and psychological manipulation, the KGB ensured that any hint of opposition was swiftly and ruthlessly extinguished. The legacy of the KGB's reign of terror continues to cast a long shadow over Soviet history, serving as a chilling reminder of the depths to which a regime will sink to maintain its stranglehold on power.